Hello, I think everything's working and we have noise. Oh look, you can hear me. What's up? We're live. I don't know if anyone's here yet, but we're live. Another week, another session, or another fortnight, another session. Let's get a little bit of, actually not that one. Let's see if we can get some Moosack running. I don't think I have any other music apart from battle music. Yeah, we'll turn the sewer on. Ooh, we got a double up here somewhere. We do. Mute site, mute site. Yes, there we go. We had a double up on my computer. What's up, Ari? How you doing? I was going to say, what's up, Grim? But you're in the fucking chat. Well done, sir. But we are live for another fortnight, another session of D&D with my good friends in the chat here. We are session 4 of our Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign. So we're going to kick off more straight away, jump straight into it. We're only going to be running for, no, it's not fortnight. Thank God for that. That's all I can say. Hopefully I'm going to say,
first thing I checked, yes, and you did change the thing.
I'm pretty sure I changed it. Thanks, Magic. Make me paranoid. But anywho, we're going to get into the recap from 2 weeks ago. So remind these chaps what happened. But of course, I'll quickly go through. We have Grim Reality's playing Elliot Dustborn, a Tiefling Warlock. We've got Nutty Tart playing Jane Smith, the Human Druid. We have Neon Reptile playing Droplet, the Kinku Monk. We have Sticks and Stones playing Xerxes Devrain, the Half-Drow Paladin. And we have Dill Cripple playing Dags, Sheep Shit, Half-Foot Elf. You're never going to live that down, dude. Anywho, those are our characters and our players. Last we left off, you had left a skewered dragon and headed north to Candle Lane and found a warehouse that had been described to you. Once there, Xerxes knocks on the door a couple of times with little success. Eventually, Jane suggests her using a particular skill, and she transforms herself into a spider and enters under the door and goes to have a bit of a look-see. Not finding a hell of a lot inside apart from a dozen or so corpses. From the armor, they appeared to be members of the Zentarum, as you've just come to discover that the faction wars have been spilling out to the streets of Waterdeep of late, which has the city guard on quite the razor's edge. Eventually, you move back outside and inform your companions of what you've just seen. I believe that I can't remember exactly how the door was opened. I believe that someone attempted to pick the lock and failed miserably. And I honestly don't remember whether you guys kicked it in or whether it was someone opened it. I can't remember, to be honest.
I tried to with my shoulder and hurt my shoulder.
That's right, you tried to do that, then you picked the lock, right. I knew something like that happened. So looking, returning to the exterior, Dags then picks the lock and you'll enter the warehouse and then indeed find a dozen corpses and confirm that they are members of the Zentarum. A nasally voice is heard. Tie up the pretty boy in the back room. Follow the yellow signs to the sewer. And finally, and another voice is heard during this time too. A orcish voice. Xanathar sends his regards. And then the gravelly. No time to loot the place. Just get him to the boss. After looking around and seeing some movement in the corner, 3 Kinku reveal themselves and attack. The fight doesn't last too long, with only Jane taking a little bit of damage. After which Dags discovers in the main storage closet, a person is hiding under several tarps and old rags. It turns out to be Raynar Neverember, the noble son of Lord Neverember. He informs her that he believes that Floon has been taken by the Xanathar Guild in his stead. They believe he has some knowledge of an artifact called the Stone of Galore. This discussion went for quite some time. He went a little bit of backwards and forwards. He informed you that he doesn't really speak to his father at all. He doesn't really particularly like his father too much, and hasn't spoken to him in probably 2 summers. Eventually, however, the city watch bursts in, rounds you all up. A couple of you try and hide-ish, but are eventually rounded up also. Many questions are asked. Captain Hyosta Staggett questions all of you and gets a little bit of information and determines that you are not the aggressors in this particular case, and that you were defending yourselves against the Kenku, and decides to let you go. He also warns you not to make waves in the city streets. He gives a little bit of friendly advice to Xerxes, who has revealed that Xerxes Defrain is not his real name. He also offers a little advice to Jane, who also revealed her real name to him, him alone. Dags also giving up his real name. Seems several of your party have a little bit to hide, which is brought a little bit to light. Though not overly concerned about this matter at this point, you then leave the warehouse and head out into the streets. You lead out into a main street of sorts. Snail Street you moved out into, and what the funny thing was, you Droplet spies a drain cover in the street, picks at it quite emphatically, and you all start to remove the drain cover, only to be stopped by the city guard and moved on. Little banter back and forth, trying to I think there was a lost coin involved, and then there was a mention of old Staggett himself. Why am I not seeing that the way I should? Mod icons, thank you. Goodbye, wherever you are. And we shall ban you as well. Cluttered Siren. Go take a flying leap, good sir. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So you eventually move into an alley, I believe, led by Droplet, who knows this area relatively well, finds another more suitable sewer entrance, and you drop down into the sewer below. Once there, you have discovered the particular marking you were looking for on the opposite side of a 6-foot gap of dirty sewer water. Many of you make it over there without too many hassles, all except Jane, who splooshes quite badly and is now covered from head to toe in dirtiness. Elliot, however, gracefully, someone of his age, manages to leap the gap, but it seems maybe with a little aid, as a strange eminence is seen as he makes the leap across. I believe one other barely made it across. I think it was Xerxes, got his feet wet, but that was about it. Nothing too serious there. But you find a symbol, which I'm going to show you, the players and the viewers, not the viewers, the players. We probably can show the viewers actually as well. We'll swap over to here for a second. So there is the symbol, which is drawn in yellow chalk. Not as pristinely as this, a little bit rougher. It's just a roughly drawn circle with many spikes, lines coming out of it, not unlike the sun. basically depicting the sun. And that is the symbol that you have found, which leads you in a northerly direction. As you stand in the sewer branch, you've got two ways to go at the moment. You can go north or south. The sun symbol, the yellow sun symbol, is heading northward. And this is pretty much where we pick up you guys as I think it was Droplet that found the symbol first. So Droplet, how do you let your companions know that you have located said symbol?
After hopping off over the 6-foot gap and flapping my wings hopelessly, I once again land, hop my little bird feet over to the symbol, and sniff a dog alert next to it once again, just to make absolutely certain my beak about an inch away from the symbol, that everyone knows exactly where the thing is.
I believe Jane has a light source. She has a hooded lantern gifted to her by Dags after her torch was doused in the dirty sewer water. So you do have a light source. You are able to see, and you all see this emphatic, well, it's an emphatic standing still of Droplet, nose virtually pressed against the side of this dirty sewer wall.
I would hold the lamp up and say, what have you found there, Droplet?
Follow the yellow markers to the sewers.
Okay, this must be the yellow markers they were talking about.
As the siding you're standing on is only about 2.5 feet wide. I mean, there's enough room for you to sidle past each other with care. But you all move forward slowly, heading in the northward direction. As you move past the symbol, I'm assuming you all have a good look at it, so you know what you're looking for as you continue northward along the sewer branch.
Oh, sorry.
Jane sneezes quite loudly. It echoes quite severely in this long sort of tunnel of sewer.
Water in the nose. Sorry, guys.
The smell is quite terrible. I mean, no one can really smell Jane specifically because the whole place stinks of sewer. Obviously, it's dirt. It's not just stormwater, it's sewers, it's a bit of everything. With the light spilling out from the hooded lantern, as you continue northward, your footfalls sort of echoing slightly in the tunnel. You notice the odd bit of debris floating down the central tunnel, the central passage. There's bits of wood, there's all manner of things, dead rodents on occasion will float through. At one point, I would say you swear that you saw a body float. You couldn't really tell, it was kind of bloated and upturned, but it looked not unlike a body. It probably wouldn't faze many of you. I'd say most of you have dealt with corpses before, but it kind of hazards a guess that maybe the sewers are not just used for the sewer in the city of Waterdeep. Maybe slightly darker as well. And of course, the city's quite large, so there's lots of tunnels. As you move forward, I will get all of you. Give me 1 second here.
I was just going to ask if I could just hang back a little bit and quickly change my clothes into the spare set I've got in my bag.
You can do that before we do this perception check if you like. It's going to take you about 5 to 10 minutes to change. What, do you stop the group? Do you tell them what you're doing?
I'll just say, guys, just go ahead. I just need to get out of these grotty clothes and change. I'll be there. I'll catch up.
You know that 10 minutes without, I mean, you're these guys' light source, so.
Okay, well, stand there. I'll just get changed over here. Just turn away.
So, do you guys stop and avert your gaze from Jane as she changes her clothing?
Yes.
Well, okay, of course, Droplet would.
I would say I stand and look in a different direction, but I'm not particularly trying to avoid.
Okay. Dags and Elliot, what are you doing as Jane is requested to stop and change?
I'd definitely like turn the other way, like nervous, like
You're aware you'd fit in more with the common folk upstairs if you're still covered in their refuse. You seem to enjoy doing that. And he's not looking away because he just doesn't care.
She looks him in the eye, takes top off, changes it, and goes, I don't care if I'm going to fit in with the people upstairs if I smell like them. This is disgusting.
I hope you have a third set of clothes just in case you go in again.
Oh, let's not go there. I'll be more careful next time.
So you've removed your clothing in front of Elliot. Is there any distinguishing marks that Jane may have that may stand out or not?
I don't think so. No. No?
No? It's all, it's
No,
up to
I don't
you.
think
It's
so.
your character. I don't know.
I can't remember, but no, I don't think she had anything in
Okay,
particularly
that's cool.
distinguished.
So once that is taken care of, I'll get you all to roll a perception check as you start looking for the next symbol. You're continuing to look for symbols as you walk, but you're coming to a bit of a junction where there's a turn and you need to find the next symbol. Dags. There's a bit.
I had to click it like 4 times.
Righty-ho. So, Droplet. Elliot doesn't see a thing. He's kind of a little, I'd say he's a little distracted by the well-endowed Jane Smith. And, Elliot being Elliot, he is who he is, I guess. Doesn't really care about chalk symbols or anything like that. He's rather impressed by Jane's physical form. But the rest of you, as you turn to sort of get back on track, you start looking, all of you except for Elliot, are able to locate the next symbol, which is on the side of the sewer that you're walking. There's a couple of old planks now that you see just ahead of you in the illumination of the lantern that allow you to cross over. And you move forward in that same direction. You take a right turn now, moving eastward, and what you would perceive to be eastward in this particular situation. And you continue moving forward. Several rats scurry past your feet. Hear the occasional bat flitter in the darkness outside of the lantern's light as the light disturbs it as you continue to walk. Is there anything you guys wish to discuss as you continue moving forward at this point? No? Yes?
I sincerely hope this Floon chap is worth this.
First time in a sewer?
No. First time in a sewer.
Experience you soon won't forget.
Not if it smells like that. Stuck up my nose.
I just think it's interesting that he was actually trying to be captured by... No, wait. No, it was actually, they were trying to take care of Neverember.
True.
Mistaken identity.
So who do we think's got him?
Xerxes, you'd know the symbol, 100%.
I'm pretty sure this is Xanathar.
Xanathar.
You would all know who Xanathar is. Xanathar is well known within the Sword Coast. He is a well-known crime boss. I would say the only people that would know of what he looks like or what he actually is probably Xerxes, maybe Dags, possibly Droplet as well. There's a chance that Droplet, you may have done a job or two for the Xanathar Guild in your time here. But I would say Elliot and Jane, you don't know what he is. You just know of him. You know he's a well-known crime boss within Waterdeep, and everyone knows the Xanathar Guild and what they do. but most people don't know what Xanathar is.
Okay.
Definitely not one to mess around with. If we happen to come across them, then we better get our story straight.
Yes. Have we thought about how we're going to get this Floon fellow back from Xanathar? If they do indeed have him, maybe they're not keen to give him up freely, especially since we don't have the gentleman they wanted.
Do we actually need to get him back, or we just needed to find out what happened to him?
Distinction
Fair
of the
point.
instructions.
Droplet lowers his beak, and you just hear, Xanathar sends his regards.
Doesn't sound very friendly.
You had a thought, Jane.
Pretty sure that Volo probably wants him back.
Well, if there's
But
nothing
he
for him
didn't
to
say
get back,
in how many pieces. Or alive.
Well, we do want to get paid, don't we?
We do, so ideally alive would be good.
Yeah.
probably the best bet.
Volo doesn't seem like the sort of man who'd want severed parts of his friend.
No. No.
He just want the story.
Yeah. So I say if he's dead, we just take the story back, not the body.
That sounds like a plan. But all I can say is we just need to be really careful around Xanathar's guild.
Maybe we could talk them into letting us take him back alive. If he's still alive. Hopefully he's still alive.
And maybe take on the job of capturing Never Ember instead.
Good point. Win-win situation.
But win-win till capturing a noble.
Get paid twice then, right?
Exactly.
Okay. How long do we have to traipse around in this sewer, do you think? Waterdeep is a very big city, and I don't know how long we're going to be down here until we get to where we need to go. Hopefully these symbols are very concise and direct us to exactly where we need to go.
You continue onwards, chatting amongst yourselves as you do. Eventually, you come to an interesting spot in the sewer. You, on your left-hand side, you spy a ladder leading upwards. In front of you, you've got, it looks like another branch of the sewer leading to possibly the left. I'm assuming Drain has put herself out in the front, considering she has the light source. So Jane, you were probably the first to notice the movement ahead of you. Just on the edge of the lantern light, looks like maybe on the opposite side of the sewer tunnel itself, you see something almost floating. It looks like it's floating about a foot off the ground, maybe a couple of feet, and it sort of moves. And as the hood light catches it, it turns, and you see probably something you've never seen before. It's about the size of a grapefruit, a large grapefruit, large bulbous eye. You see it blink once or twice in the lantern light. And then as it sort of moves slowly towards you, see 3 or 4 stalks protruding from its head.
Hello there. We are looking for somebody down here. Have you seen anybody that shouldn't be?
You're going to speak with it, or attempt to speak with it. First things first, let's activate what you see.
Nutty knows what it is. Jane doesn't have a clue.
It is, you can barely see it. It's right on the edge of the light. So I'm going to switch over to this scene over here so the viewers can see what is happening. So right on the edge here, you can see this little creature. You've got this sort of light here coming from what could be a hatch, or it's only a little bit of light coming through, spilling through from maybe an open hatch or a sewer grate. You've got access to a few flimsy boards crossing the sewer water in front of you. Now, as you call out Jane, the rest of you now see what Jane sees on the edge of the light, this little purplish pink grapefruit, so larger than, ever so slightly larger than a grapefruit sized creature. And it moves forward just ever so slightly, coming in more into view. And it doesn't speak, just blinks at you again. And we will need to roll initiative, everybody. I'll just get the combat up there so you guys can now roll initiative. Get some battle musak going.
Having a moment just from here, eh?
You can roll it from the combat tab, or you can roll it from your sheet, or you can roll it from your HUD. It's up to you.
Combat tab.
Right, so it appears that Droplet, we will unpause this for the moment. So Droplet, you get the initiative in this particular situation, but however, we're just going to make a quick thing here. What initiates this combat is this particular creature looks at you, Jane, as you speak out, and I need you to, give me 1 second, I need you to make a save for me. Where is it? Jane, I need you to make that wisdom save for me, please. As one of the little stalks on top of its head opens an eye, looks directly at you, and you see a beam of light emanate from this eye, and it, right in your face. It's not bright light, it just comes directly for you, and you feel for a second like turning and running. Just an uncontrollable sense of dread takes over for just a split second, and you manage to fight it off, not knowing what this creature is. And that will start our combat. So, Mr. Droplet, being all the way to the back there, I'm not sure what Droplet's vision is like. You can see, you've got light from the torch, you can see. You see this small creature on the opposite side of the sewer from where you're currently standing. And it is just, you all saw that sort of brightish light emanate from this creature towards Jane. What are you doing, sir?
So, Droplet, seeing this and seeing this flash of light come from the creature, is going to jump across to the other side of the sewer first. The other walkway. Do you need to make a roll for this?
Yes, you will need to. It's for you, it's going to be relatively easy, but we will need you to make a Just make a dexterity check. The DC is relatively low.
You.
This is more about grace than making it across. So you manage, I will put you over there, you manage to dart across. Bit of a hop, skip and a jump.
Indeed. How much movement would you say that is used?
That would be 10 feet. It's a 6 foot gap.
That's 10. Cool.
Yeah, it's a 6 foot gap. So I'd say, maybe we'll say 5 feet. Just to round it
5
down.
feet,
So it gives you 20, what, 25 feet or 20 feet, whatever you've got left for your movement.
Ooh. And then Droplet is going to move up here. Grab this corner from the creature. But facing the other way. Like so.
Uh-oh. What did I do? That was me.
What did
Come
you
on.
do?
It's alright, you're good. So you've moved around the corner, away, breaking line of sight of the creature.
Correct. And then Droplet's beak is going to open, and you will hear once again.
Xanathar sends his regards.
And I suppose I'll hold action.
You're gonna hold your action? What are you gonna hold your action for specifically?
If it comes round the corner, then I may attack.
So you're gonna wait for it to breach line of sight? So you can
Yes, if
then
comes
attack it, no
as a
worries.
ping. But yeah, basically comes in front of Droplet, then he...
Yeah,
If it's
so
being
bad.
aggressive,
So-
then yeah.
Yeah, click and hold left mouse to ping on the map, guys. So that is your
excellent.
turn.
This one.
So you're gonna hold your action.
Right.
Elliot, it is now your turn with Jane on board. So Elliot, you also see this small creature. You've seen this strange light emanate towards Jane, and you can sort of see it. She sort of stopped for a brief second, but then seems to be okay. Bear in mind this is all happening simultaneous, guys. So sort of you're all sort of acting at once. So you can squeeze past your companions. There's enough room. Again, if you're careful, you can scoot past each other. It's about 2.5 feet wide, so you do have room to move past your companions. So you can do that.
Well, assuming that wasn't its way of communication, I guess we got to do this. And he sort of raises his hand, and then he'll let off an eldritch blast around the side everyone and try and hit the
No worries.
hit the thing.
Target the thing and let fly, good sir.
Blech.
That is a 9. That misses.
Oh, it looked cool, though.
It did look cool. Why is that not working? Oh, maybe because it missed him. So is that your turn as your darkened Eldritch Blast, looking a little darker than usual as you release it with its shadow
Checks his hand and he's
trail.
like, fuck.
Yeah, with its shadowy trail, snakes out in front of you, but strikes the silver water in front of the creature. So that is your turn, Elliot. Jane, it is now your turn. Zerx is on board. I think you muted yourself.
I said I'd turn myself around, and I am going to target him
Target him.
and entangle.
What is the range on that?
20-foot square from
Okay.
the targeted. Oh crap!
So you've placed it on top of Droplet.
I didn't mean to place it there.
Where did you want ping? Where you wanted to place it? Because you would know that where the like if you're wanting to place a template, you wanted to place
A square.
you want to place it about there.
Yeah.
So you'd know that the target is roughly the center. You know the target's about like you know that you want to target about there. So it needs to make. But you also realise as you release it that this creature is floating and is not affected by your entangle spell.
So with that, I would probably not want to target
No.
it with an entangle.
I would say that you would know that. I'm not going to be that mean.
Okay.
Normally I would
Alright.
be, because you need to know your character and you'd understand that it needs to be
I
standing.
wasn't sure how high they grew, so.
Well,
fair
I
enough.
did tell you it was floating when I described it to you.
No, I meant the vines.
They don't. It's a 20-foot square. It's on the ground.
Ah, okay.
It
Right,
turns
so
it
I'm
into
gonna-
difficult terrain, so you need to read your spells as well.
Okay, how do I target you? Select targets. I'm going to select him. And I am going to throw.
So I need to
Nice
now
try.
turn off your concentration. Double check your range on ice knife just to make sure you're able to hit.
It's It doesn't. It just says. Create
does.
a shard of ice. Make a ranged spell attack,
Thank you.
which is what it did.
At the bottom of the description there,
It shows
just
the
below
range,
the
60
results,
feet.
It says 60 feet.
You really need to
Oh,
read your
there you go.
spells.
60 feet. There you go.
Right, thank you. So, you do hit. Why is that not... What the fuck? Okay, shit's not working properly, as fucking per usual. Oh, I love this fucking stuff. It was all working fine last time. So it makes the save. So it doesn't take the cold damage, but it does take the piercing damage, which is 10. And for some reason it's not allowing me to apply the damage. I'm getting really fucking annoyed with this shit not working. But he takes the piercing damage as your knife is released. Anything else? I don't think you can do anything else.
Be it for me.
So that is you. It is now Xerxes' turn.
I would like to try and jump across the other side as well, and then run as far forward as I can, but I am just going to hold my shield out in front and not attack.
Alright, let's see how gracefully
I'm going to duck
Xerxes...
my head down behind the shield as well.
Alright, let's see how gracefully Xerxes can bound across. I mean, you're definitely going to make it, it's just how gracefully. Not very gracefully. You jump across, and again, your foot, you don't slip this time, but your foot catches the edge and you stumble a little bit. So I'm going to say you're going to lose 5 feet of movement. But you get across, so you now have 20 feet left.
So move up to 5, 10, 15, 20.
And you're going to be hiding
And-
behind your shield, you said?
Yeah, just going to hold the shield up in front of my face, and I'm not attacking. I'm not holding an action.
Okay, you're not holding action, you're not attacking. Cool. Dax, is now your turn.
Dags is just going to draw a short bow and take a shot.
Alright, target and shoot. I need to figure out why this isn't auto allowing me to roll damage now, which is weird. 18 hits. Dealing, must have been just that spell. Anywho, so that definitely hits, doing 3 points of damage. Where were you aiming specifically?
Probably be aiming at the largest part of it. So
Which is
main
its eye. Its main eye. Like that, pretty much his whole body was the eye. As you draw and release your bow, you take careful aim. The light spilling from the hooded lantern you gave to Jane, spilling over the glistening eyeball of this little creature, and you draw, you hold it just for a split second, then you release. The arrow flies true, striking the creature in its center eye. You hear a faint popping sound as it pierces the eye, and it drops almost immediately from its floating position with a bit of a soft thud, thud, thud as it drops and rolls along the ground. You get the closest view of the Xerxes as the creature drops unmoving on the ground in front of you, bringing our combat to an end. A very brief combat. You guys are able to add your XP as our combat has come to a close. And we will switch back to our other scene. So I'll leave you on that scene on the map, just so you roughly know where you are. So, Dags, your arrow flies true, killing the creature. You are unable to recover your arrow. However,
That was an accident.
I know.
What was that? I don't think I've come across one of those before.
Xerxes, I think you would know. You've
It's
probably
a
had,
bad omen.
yeah, you definitely would know what it is. You have had dealings with the Xanathar Guild. Dags, not so much. You've definitely been around, but I don't think you've had close proximity dealings with these creatures specifically. Did a mod automatically assign you guys XP?
Yeah. Yeah, it for me.
Yeah, got some. Yeah.
Yeah, I added it.
I think I went up 40 XP from that because it says Cub Experience gave me XP, but then your thing.
Okay.
Before I saw that.
I think I went up 40 as well because I
Okay.
was pretty sure it was that 480 and I'm now at 520.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it. We will sort that for next time. I just won't auto sign it for next time. We'll let the actually I'll probably turn off CUB, but if that's auto assigning it, then that's cool. I will. Oh, it did too. Okay, so I don't need to do that one. Sweet, easy. I can sort that for next time. So, Xerxes, you would definitely know what it is. Whether you give them that information is up to you.
It is a bad omen, and we may have just put our foot in it. It's not. I feel this is a servant of Xanathar.
You hear that, Dags? You put your foot in it.
Hey, no. I just killed it.
These creatures, each one of these is some sort of servant of Xanathar, and I believe it was a sentry of sorts. I could be wrong, could be mistaken, but I think this is a bad omen.
So you think we might be getting close to where we're trying to go? Maybe?
Yes, and we've probably just announced our presence. I say we tread carefully. Or we could always turn around and go back to Volo.
We're halfway there. What
Are
would
you?
we tell Volo? Well, I'm guessing we're halfway there. We're here now. We might as well carry on. Well, what would we tell Volo?
Well, we could just tell him that Xanathar Guild hasn't.
Well, that's true.
Maybe he can make a deal with Xanathar.
I mean, we could always climb up that ladder over there and hopefully that leads us out of the sewers.
Xerxes.
Knows where that goes, though.
I'm gonna get a couple of rolls here. Firstly, I need a wisdom save from Xerxes. Let's see if Xerxes' morals, or newfound morals, kick in. So Xerxes, with a 15, this talk of leaving a potential innocent to die, perhaps, at the hand of Xanathar, once upon a time would never have fazed you. But in light of recent events in your life and with your return to Waterdeep, I would say it's probably gnawing at you a little bit. I mean, how you 100% deal with the situation is up to you, whether your moral compass is definitely your own. But conscience seems to be twigging just a little bit at the thought of maybe leaving this man, though you don't know him, at the mercy of the Xanathar Guild. You've seen what the Xanathar Guild does to people on occasion in your years prior. you'd understand that it would not be pleasant by any means. And with what you've recently gone through, it may play on your mind a little bit. Elliot, you don't really give a fuck about what happens to Floon, realistically. But I need you to also make a wisdom save. I mean, you're kind of here for the money. And, hey, maybe experience, who knows. But your passenger, or driver, depending on how you look at it, whispers into your mind, into your ear, leave him to die. He's not worth it. Maybe turn them in for reward. Riches, women, wine. That is what we like. Death, destruction.
Nobody asked you what you want.
I always get what I want. You should know this by now.
Would I hear Elliot talking to himself?
That is up to Elliot, whether he speaks out loud or whether he...
Probably would speak out loud because it's still relatively new. And, oh, God, the voices in my head are getting really loud.
He's getting rather angry, that voice. Yes, so you would hear, all of you would hear him speak out loud.
I'm going to turn around and look at him and go, Elliot, are you okay?
For now, yes. Although I don't want to stay here for too much longer, we need to make a decision. Save this human fop or turn back and tell Volo we couldn't do it.
Is this normal for you to talk to yourself?
He's an old
Unfortunately,
man.
yes. Very.
Okay.
What is Droplet doing in all this?
Droplet's looking for a yellow mark.
I figured you would be. So, Droplet, I will get you to roll a perception check. As the rest of you are sort of discussing what's going on, and Droplet is looking around but is unable to find the next marker on this side, perhaps. Maybe you move across the other side and I'll get you to roll. The DC will be, I mean, it's not, the DC's not set high purely because you know what you're looking for. But on this particular side, you find nothing. You move back across easily. I mean, by now you guys are sort of navigating the sewers, so you're able to jump across more easily between the two sides. And you got the planks. Now you're seeing more and more planks. You're 22, that's better. You move across.
More promising.
Yes, you move back across the shoddy wooden planks with your weight. They creak a little bit underfoot, but do not give way. And you do find the next marker leading westward this time. And as you sort of peer down the darkened hall with your little blinking white eyes, you do see maybe 15, 20 feet, a crack of light spilling out into the sewerway. Not unlike what would be peeking out from the underside of a door.
Droplet opens his beak, and you hear those wonderful tones again coming with,
Follow the yellow markers through the sewers.
as he begins to hop down that pathway towards that door.
Right.
Thinking he's got something.
That sounds to me like the bird's onto something.
Let's go. I'm not going first this time. So
Well, you've got the lantern, so
I'll go behind Droplet.
I will
follow
very carefully shift whatever remains of this creature into the sewer.
no
And,
problem.
Use a bit of the liquid to just wipe away the blood.
No worries. Are you gonna like drop it into the sewer water?
Yes.
You give it a bit of a roll, and it goes. Bloop. It's not very big. Let's say about a large grapefruit. Think of like that sort of size. You're looking like an oversized grapefruit with little stalks for eyes. And then, yeah, you get a closer look. It's got that central eye, which is now quite pierced with an arrow. The arrow is quite broken as it sort of hit the ground as well. But you got little eye stalks probably about 4 or 5 inches long with little eyes on top of them, and they're all sort of rolled back and closed. The sort of mouth is open a little bit, and you can see the razor sharp teeth that it had as well. You knowing exactly what it is and what it was possibly capable of. Probably a little relieved that you were able to kill it so quickly. You roll it into the water, it ploops into the water, and you scoop your hand down, not caring about the sewer water at all, and you splash a bit of water over and wash away the blood, which was not red in color for this creature. It was more of a dark, sort of greenish brown almost. But you wash away evidence of said creature.
I also, as I'm moving into the water, and it makes the bloop sound, I look up at Droplet and shake my head just in case he thought I was talking to him.
Correct. Droplet has heard that sound and he's turned around and he's looking at you quizzically. Just like, yes.
It was a little deep of a bit of a bloop, not a droplet. It was, but yes, it probably would strike your interest. So as you move around the corner, I'm going to move you guys to another scene, just to show you where you're at. You move around the corner, you go through, you find the door. It's not locked. It's there's a single torch burning behind it. And now what you see, can you guys see anything on there, just so I know?
Yes,
Oh,
I see a
mine.
long hallway.
Well, I'll turn the light on. So
Hallway.
I need to make it a little darker in here because it's still pitch black. Night time. We got a torch there, so there we go.
A thing at the end if I scroll past, but no.
You shouldn't be able to see anything now that those that don't have dark vision, except for what's in the torchlight.
Can see a hallway.
You can see a hallway. That is exactly what you see. You see a hallway. In said hallway, you're now walking in like ankle deep sewer water. It's almost like a small sewer tunnel through this doorway. The door creaks heavily as you open it and you move through. I will move you guys at this point because I know exactly where you need to go. As you move down said hallway, the stench isn't as bad here. You can hear noises coming from somewhere inside this cabin. And as you move forward, you see a light ahead of you. And what you see ahead of you is this tunnel leads into like a central hub almost. Looks like it, from your distance, you can't really see exactly where it goes, but you know what a sewer hub looks like. It will move. It probably moves in different directions. I need you all at this point. When I do this, I need you all to roll a stealth check. Xerxes, you will be at disadvantage. Natural 1.
Don't worry, the 4 wasn't much better.
No, it wasn't. Elliot, I need you to roll your one as
You're
well.
having some problems with it for some reason.
There we go.
No, there it goes.
Yeah, I think if you're not clicking directly on it, if you might be slightly on one of the others, it can be a bit of a pain. But we've got some pretty good rolls here, except for Xerxes, who I would say at this point, this corridor's this particular tunnel is only about 5 or 6 feet wide, and Xerxes, whether you're preoccupied with actually, did you guys you didn't really make a decision that you're going to move forward, did you? You're still making a decision whether you're going to actually proceed or not. I jumped the gun a little bit.
And Droplet simply hopped off in the direction.
I think we just decided.
You decided to follow Droplet?
Droplet because
Kind of makes sense.
he's gone.
But while you're moving, you know you can hear distant voices, so you know you're getting close to something, some form of population. So you go into more stealth mode. If you wish to discuss further whether you are going to proceed to try and rescue Floon or you're going to vacate, you can continue to do so. But Xerxes, I'd say, how do you think Xerxes makes a noise in here? I'll leave it up to you. It's a narrow corridor. It's about ankle deep water. It could be a cough, could be a sneeze. Whatever you imagine Xerxes would make noise wise in this particular situation.
With his slight hobble, he's got his flail attached to his belt, and as he sort of moves along, the balls on each of the flails just keep clinking backwards and forwards against each other, a bit like the pendulum, and then also against his leg armor as well, just clinking.
So you just hear a slight clang as the flail sort of knocks against his leg plate. And it echoes somewhat in this small tunnel. So, I mean, the rest of you are relatively quiet, but yes, Xerxes is making a little bit of noise, sort of clinking and clunking with his armor a little bit.
Like this?
Yeah, pretty much. More or less. So I'll leave it, I'll hand it back over to you guys to see if you're still continuing to discuss whether or not you're going to continue.
So Elliot turns to Xerxes and just sort of like raises his eyebrows. He's like, "Sir?"
Sir, who are you talking about?
Your clinky balls are echoing, sir.
Of course they are. I think you broke sticks, dude.
Breaking his balls.
There it is. We had to break a character sooner or later.
He's hobbling because he's like walking like he's just got off a horse.
Oh, well done. Well
Thanks,
done,
is
sir.
gonna
Well done.
Pull back like half a step with this talk.
Jane's just
I reached down and just grabbed hold of the flail, the chain itself.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Better tie that thing up.
What do you do with your flail balls, Xerxes?
I just grab both chains and just hold them close together so that the two balls don't swing apart.
They don't clank together.
Perhaps I should go see a leather worker and get them to create a little baggie for them.
Oh, shit.
Can you chuck them into your
a sack
trousers?
for your balls.
No, they don't fit.
Shut up, Dropper. You can't speak.
Make sure it's in a good leather.
He lost the sack in the accident that disfigured him.
Yes, I want to make sure I get leather that's not left out of the sun too much and get too wrinkly.
Studded, maybe.
Oh, damn. Oh, this escalated very quickly.
Just make sure it's not. It doesn't have the tannery work on it too long.
So, away from the swinging balls, are you proceeding forward, or are you going to just decide to leave? What is the call here, guys?
I guess we're going forward. Sorry, carry on.
Before we get too close, I might just get everybody to wait just by just saying, before we go ahead. You see what we what we dispatched just back there?
Mm.
We may come across something much bigger. If we do, play nice.
Bigger or bigger?
The second.
Oh, big. Okay. I tried to talk to it.
Like bigger, like troll bigger, or
Bigger.
Yeah, just maybe a little bigger than that.
Okay, so we talk to it if we come across a big one.
If it can be reasoned with, then perhaps we'll have a better chance.
You just need to play the game.
Yes, it's
I'm
all
good at games.
Yes, I get that.
So what is Droplet? What is
Motioning.
Droplet doing?
At this conversation, Droplet is just motioning sort of along his neck past his beak repeatedly as he says, Xanathar sends his regards. Do with that what you will.
Fuck do you mean, bird?
I'm guessing the Xanathar thing person. If Xanathar sends his regards, is able to be reasoned with. Or spoken to, at least.
Spoken to, maybe.
So we just got to keep it
Reasoning
sweet.
myth is another one.
Okay, so it's here. An ego?
He isn't the crime boss of Waterdeep for no reason.
Okay, so we just try and keep him sweet.
I think we've kind of passed that.
Well, I mean, Elliot knows you can be sweet, so
So we grovel for forgiveness for that.
That might be a start. But
speaking of that, I'm going to attempt to do this on Jane's hair, so she.
You're going to attempt to use your use your little spell that you have.
Yes.
Right. So before you cast it, Dags, I need you to roll. Where is it?
But I like Jane with brown hair.
Wisdom?
Nope, an Arcana check.
Oh yeah.
It's not bad, not bad. It takes a little bit. You try and focus on the spell, and what you guys see is you watch as Dags very awkwardly starts making like hand movements, hand gestures with his hand towards Jane, and it's not in a creepy way, just really awkward hand movements. Jane, you'd kind of recognize it as something magic. I mean, you deal with the arcane on a daily basis, and after it doesn't instant like it should instant work. It's a cantrip. It should instantly happen. You mutter the arcane words that you need to, and you move that, make the hand movements, but it just takes a little while for it to come through, and then suddenly your hair is dry, and the mud, the sewage water, the sewer water is removed. The smell that you smell in your nose and on yourself is still there, but you're now less dirty, not completely clean, but less dirty.
Normally, I would tell you off for using magic without permission on somebody, but in this case, I thank you.
Hey.
It did hurt a little bit, Dags, just to you get a bit of that sort of, migraine that starts behind your eye, like you get that headache that starts right behind your eyeball. You get that sort of feeling behind your right eye, and it almost gives a bit of makes you twitch a little bit, and you sort of have to stop for a second and concentrate on it to sort of make it go away. But it was definitely not pleasant to cast.
Would I be able to tell?
I think anyone that's sort of looking at him would see that he sort of stops and sort of blinks and sort of brings his hand to his temple, and it's definitely a bit of discomfort there. You wouldn't know why, but he'd visibly sort of emanate that discomfort.
Are you
Little
okay?
vein popping in my head.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, you'd
good.
probably understand he may have struggled to cast that. Maybe he's learning magic, perhaps.
Okay.
At this point, Droplet is looking at Xerxes' legs
Yeah.
and making the exact same awkward hand gestures for a few moments.
And nothing happened.
Looks a little bit disappointed, turning back around.
Ziggy, what's up?
Oh my goodness.
So, what is the decision? Are we moving forward or are we moving backwards?
Oh, we've come this far. I think we should probably keep on going.
I don't think we turn around now. They'll just come after us now.
As you were, Droplet, lead on.
And with one little bird foot outstretched for a moment before moving, he then leans onto it and does the little bird hop down the corridor.
Little bird hop down the corridor. You continue forward. You now sort of get to the edge, Droplet. And the spill of the light you would see here, and as you peer around the corner here, quite plainly, you guys can't really see them on that map, but quite clearly, just on the edge of the light, you can see them, Droplet, as you're the closest. 2 arrow slits, not unlike those that would be in the walls of a castle. Very shabbily made, just almost like they've taken a pick and a hammer and chiseled these out of the wall so that someone could see into this particular area. Do you stop and wait? See if you can hear anything or see anything, because you know exactly what they were for. You've been around, you've seen them, you've not been in the sewers dealing with your quarry, but you'd understand what the purpose of these particular things are, and especially knowing what you're possibly walking into as well. You would understand that this may be a problem, may not be too. You're not 100% sure. But do you stop? What do you do in this situation?
Would it be fair to say I could step forward once into sort of the opening so I'm a bit more visible to whoever may or may not be on the other side of those slits?
Yes, where you are
dodge.
where you are at the moment, you're pretty safe line of sight. You know that no one would probably see you. If you stepped out to here, you would be in direct line of sight of this one, and pretty much both of them.
Would it be fair to say I could step forwards, understanding the situation, prepared to dodge? if
I
an
would
action's taken against me?
I would give you that. If you are knowingly moving yourself into a position waiting for potential a potential attack, I would give. What you can do in this situation is literally take the dodge action. You step out
Cool.
and you take the dodge action, which gives you an advantage on a dexterity on attacks against you anyway, or gives them
Excellent.
disadvantage.
I would be doing that as I take that step forward. I will vocally, audibly say the line, "Xanathar sends his regards."
Oh, that's amazing. I would say, I'm going to make a dice roll here. As you step out and make the remark loud enough for anything that you believe that could be waiting in these areas to hear, the rest of you hear him do this. You watch him step out into this opening, the light streaming down from the street above through a sewer grate above this dome, which is about 15 feet in a dome above this particular junction. And you hear Droplet say the words and just stands there. You see his eyes and his head darting backwards and forwards, left and right. I would say by now, with the spill of light, you guys can see what he sees. You can see the arrow slit, specifically this one here. And you see his eyes darting back and forward, waiting for something perhaps. 2 or 3 minutes, Droplet. No attack comes. It appears these particular junctions at this point seem to be unmanned. or as far as you're aware. They could be watching you and not doing anything by design, or they may not be there. But no attack
Can I
comes.
ask a question about this section of floor directly in front of
It is not very deep. It remains to be about maybe a foot deep. It dropped into about a foot deep. Where you were is about ankle deep for a regular human. This section is about a foot deep. And it seems to be draining, almost draining away and draining into like you can see it running in a northerly and a southerly direction.
Are there any other passageways off the end of this section?
You do not have dark vision, but right on the edge of the light here, you can see what looks to be almost like a step up out of the sewer water to a little bit of a wider section, it seems. It's right on the edge of that light. Like you can just see that the dimness of the light. You can sort of see just on the edge of it, a step out of the water. You don't see any more light, however, like you did before. And as you all sort of stand and watch and listen, waiting to see what's happening with Droplet, who seems just frozen himself, looking backwards forwards in this room, somewhere in the distance you hear a muffled voice, or maybe it could be coming from the street above. You're not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to determine direction when you hear things in this area.
Well, with no response, seemingly, from anyone nearby, Droplet would try to be as Kenku-like as possible. Make as many bird-like hops around the edge towards that ledge before moving up out of the...
What is everyone else doing? Do you follow Droplet at this point? I mean, Jane, you had the light.
I would be following him.
So you
Slowly.
all, do the rest of you follow suit before we move it further?
I mean, I'm at the back, but I'd kind of follow in tow.
As I move forward, you'll just hear Xerxes also trying to cover over the sound of his clanking balls. He'll just say, "Janitor sends his regards."
Nice. As you all move forward, and indeed, when we'll get Jane over here, so we got the light, so you guys can see exactly where you're at this point. Move you down here. Move you down here. Just put no particular order. I'm sort of putting you there where you can see. So you move down through this section again as quietly as you can. Xerxes's balls clanging less as he is gripping them tightly, and you find a doorway right in front of you, Droplet. As you hop forward, the light spills forward, and the light spills onto it. It's a rusty steel door. It's obviously damp down here, so the iron on it is rusted. It has wooden planking in it, but even that's sort of pitted and rusted. So we have in front of you a door. There is no mage, Ziggy. If you see down in the bottom left corner there, you've got the racing classes of all the characters cycling over. So, Droplet, you have a door in front of you. The rest of you sidle up behind Droplet, and you also see the same door. I would say at this point, regardless of where you guys are on the map, you're all standing up on that ledge. You're out of the water. You're all sort of, there's enough room for all of you to be standing there. Easily enough.
Do you not, Cora? Just trying to...
It's all good, Ziggy.
Droplet is looking around at the group, and then back at the door, and then back at the group.
Is the door locked?
Try it?
Yeah, try it.
Does Droplet try the door?
What sort of handle lock situation does it look like?
It has a standard handle, like it's like one of those ring handles. So you still got to turn it to what would lift it like a levered latch on the other side. It's like, think medieval type door where you got a pull ring that you turn left and right, and it would lift the latch out of a seated bed on the other side.
Perfect. And is there any sort of viewing hatch on the door?
No, there is not.
There is not.
There is not a viewing hatch.
Can I hop over to the door and try and listen?
You can, indeed. You can listen. Do you get advantage with hearing? Do you not? As a Kinku,
I can't know that I do.
I can't remember. Before you roll that, let me just double check. I don't know that you do.
Forgery, deception, sort of expertise, and stealth expertise with mimicry. So I don't think I've got any.
No, you do not.
Perception.
You do not have advantage there. No. So just a standard perception rule. Number 6. You listen intently.
Seems clear to me.
It seems fine. You hear nothing untoward on the opposite side of this particular door. Seems fine.
Droplet will try the handle then.
You grasp the handle and you turn it, and the door opens freely, making a little bit of noise, a bit of a sort of a clicky click clunk as you sort of lift the handle, sort of scrapes on its bed, and you get that sort of clunking sound as it turns. You push it forward, and as you sort of release the handle, or let the handle drop, or even turn it slowly to drop it back into the seated position. As you push the door open, it sort of clunks a little bit of a squeak on the hinge with the rust on the door, but nothing hugely audible. Nothing that would be like, unless someone was standing really close, they probably wouldn't hear it.
In this case, Droplet is going to sort of use his beak to pull gently at the sleeve of Dag's arm, and then start to walk nonchalantly down the tunnel.
Does anyone attempt to stop him is the question, as you watch Kinku Droplet start to walk in through this door and down the corridor. What are you all doing?
As if he's meant to fucking be there.
Yeah. So I'll give you all a chance to potentially stop him if you wish.
No, I don't stop him. In fact, I can move as steadily as he is moving behind him.
Okay, so again, there's not a lot of room in here, guys. So
Pulling me along.
we will move you. I'm going to move you sort of one by one.
Just follow.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to give old Kinku George here a light, so because you're in the lead, so I'll give you a light on your token as well, so you can see as you move, since you're the token that can really sort of get down here at this point. As you move forward, you take it's a short corridor. You move around the bend, move everyone else up slightly. We'll move everyone else up as we can. As I said, it's a little bit of a tight squeeze in these corridors. The corridors are only about 5 or 6 feet wide, so they're not very big at all. I mean, again, in reality's sort of look on it, you would easily be able to stand shoulder to shoulder. I mean, well, not easily. You'd be able to stand shoulder to shoulder in this corridor without too many hassles. You could sidle past each other with relative ease, turning on the side. But eventually, as you move as though you're supposed to be there, as you say, you find another door. In front of you here, as you turn that corner, you see another arrow slit. Nothing seems to happen as you move around, however. And you continue forward, and you find another closed door. Similar to the one you've just come through, although this one is less rusted.
Excellent. I'm going to try open the door.
You just kind of reach out and try to open it. Mm-hmm. As the rest of you push up behind into this area with Droplet. Again, narrow corridor, Droplet. You try the door. Oops, shit, wrong one. And it also opens. You see, just as you move sort of standing right in front of the door, you see what looks to be a rather messy room to your left. You got a corridor to your right there as well. So you have a choice on which direction you wish to go.
Stepping into that corridor, I think I'd take a look to that messy room to the left. See if there's anything particularly important looking in there. Any people, any smart, clothes that look like Floon's
So you're
clothes.
definitely gonna. I'll step you to here so you can actually see. Reveal him because you can see him. As you step,
empty there.
yeah, as you step
Good.
into the hallway, you turn left quickly as probably the all shiny moment. Sort of as a bit of the light from the torch catches some implements on the ground. You sort of turn and you look and you think, oh, that's a bit of a mess. And what you see is just rusted,
Immediately look back to
yeah,
the right, I
rusted
think.
weapons, threadbare clothing, litter. It really doesn't look like it's even being used. And almost immediately you turn to the right, and as your peripheral turns, you catch the movement of looks like a goblin as it crests the top of the stairs to your right there. Hey, what are you doing here? Don't
Is
move.
the goblin wearing
He's
his entire
he's wearing armor.
Xanathar colours?
He looks to be wearing the colors of Xanathar Guild.
Very good. As I turn to him and he says all those things, Droplet's beak will open and you will hear a combination of phrases of Xanathar sends his regards.
Follow the yellow same rules in the sewers.
Get the pretty boy in the back room.
Fucking kinkos. What? Why? Why do you have to speak in such riddles? Where is he?
And I will turn to the party and tug on Dak's sleeve to try and pull him into the corridor.
Xerxes is the one directly behind you.
Oh no.
So Xerxes is directly
As if
behind.
pleadingly give me the
Yeah.
dags.
Xerxes is directly behind you. Then it's Jane. Then Dags and Elliot.
I will have to try and hop around then to pull Dags through. There's a bit of room to move.
So you're looking for Dags specifically.
Yes.
How are you going to communicate that though? Because he's like too deep. I mean, you'd be able to see him
gonna
back.
be
You'd
hopping
be able to
through.
see him back in that corridor. Like he'd be sort of two behind.
Didn't he
assume I
drag
spoke loud
Dags in
enough for him
first?
to hear me.
Xerxes did say he was directly after him.
Xerxes did say that.
Oh, that's true.
I mean,
So I will-
it's
I will
easy
hop
enough for
into the
Dags
group
to
and
be
tug.
there, but so you also have the torch. You're the one that has the lantern. So if too many people are in front of you, it's going to be hard.
Nobody's going to be able to see.
Well, they could. It's just going to be a lot of shadow. So we could say Dags is within range of you, sort of motioning towards Dags. Xerxes, you can allow him to come through easily enough.
Physically at his sleeve again.
Yeah. So Dags, Droplet's physically pulling at your sleeve to pull you forward. As this goblin sort of says, well, who have you got then? Where, what? Hang on a minute. And you can see he's sort of thinking about something. It's like, wait a second. They already bought. Who the fuck are you?
What do you mean, who are we?
Who the fuck are you?
Get the pretty boy in the back room. Tugging at Zach still.
Pretty boy, back room. That's what we're here for.
Roll a deception. I'm going to get you to roll a deception. 1 second. Because it's not going to be with an
Standard.
advantage. It's going to be a standard roll. Ooh, let's see how clever this goblin is. Yeah, no, he's a little bit onto it, this goblin. He draws his weapon and says, "They already brought someone in yesterday. This morning. Who are you and why are you here?" What do you do, Goblin? Dags, you're within earshot. You're within sort of visual range of this as you've been pulled forward, so you'd be able to also answer this if you wish.
Without drawing a weapon, Droplet will hop a few feet forwards, very Kenku-like. Open his beak. Say his name.
Okay.
And then immediately followed by Floon Blagmar, you a dragon, long noble jacket, reddish brown, sandy brown.
What the fuck? And that, my friends, will mean we're rolling initiative again.
Oh, for fuck's
Nice
sake.
try. I mean, it was he rolled a 19 on his freaking insight check, so he was definitely far smarter than he should be.
These
Am I
dogs
still
aren't
where I am?
paying attention.
No, you will be behind Droplet. So you're pretty much all in that shortened corridor at this point. So we're all going to be able to move into the right direction and stuff at this point. So doesn't really matter where you are on this particular map. We are going to go to our battle map so people can see, because you can move in and target this guy and move out if we need to. So beginning a said combat. Elliot, you get the drop here. This guy hasn't attacked, so he's just pulled this weapon and he knows something's up, and he's literally ready. He's ready for combat. So Elliot, you are first in the initiative order. You know what's going on. You heard that you could hear what was going on. You could probably even go as far to say that you could have poked your head around the corner to sort of see what was happening, and you know that it's a lone goblin. With it, how you deal with that, I mean, he could raise the alarm. You're not entirely sure exactly what's happening here, so I'll leave it up to you. And I will unpause. So you can move into a situation. What we'll do, actually, we'll move you there so you got line of sight.
So, Elliot, knowing that maybe killing this goblin is not his best course of action, will decide this is a young person's problem, and he will stand around the corner and wait for you guys to sort your shit out.
I mean, I could say you'd be able to move past them, sort of see the situation and move into the messy room if you want with your movement, and which will put you pretty much where you were at. Or you could even move further around the corner out of the line of sight if you wish.
Pop out of line of sight.
Okay.
Sort of lean up against the wall.
You should be able to move there if you wish. I have
get there
unpaused.
News. I didn't target myself at all. Look at me.
So that is, yeah, Elliot sort of, and what you hear in your head, Elliot, is, "Oh, come now, blood is blood." And with that, Xerxes, you're up. It's the same thing. You can. I'll move you to there just so you got line of sight, so you can know what you can do. But you are easily able to move into that area and do what you want. You can move past your allies as well.
As I move into the corridor and see the goblin taking note of the insignia,
Yeah.
you see Xerxes try and make an effort to stand up as tall as possible, though it is an effort for him. And he stands there and he just says, in his best effort to control his speech,
Yeah.
he says, Waterdeep Gadam would like to send his regards to Lord Xanathar.
What? That scared Rolo. Everyone knows he's an asshat. Lord Xanathar wants nothing to do with him. Nor does anyone else. Why are you here? Speak quickly before I sound the alarm.
With the greatest respect, we are here to seek out Floon Blagmar.
What's a floon?
He
Old
looks
friend.
he looks at Droplet's direction and waits for him to repeat himself.
I would say if that's
If it is
all.
permitted out of turn, I would do so.
Yeah, well, we will get to that on your turn. So I would say that would take up your entire turn having this conversation. So next up is his turn. I'd say that takes up his turn as well and engaging in that conversation with you. So Jane, it is now your turn with Droplet on board. So again, you can't sort of see where you're at the moment. You can move out and see what's happening. So if I move you out to there on top of Dags for this moment, you can see what's happening. You've heard the conversation between Xerxes and the goblin. You can see that no one's attacked at this point. Up to you what you do.
Oh, excuse me, good sir. We would like to be taken to see your, I want to say leader, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
Boss?
Just boss, that's the word. What would sweeten the deal?
What, you think I've got fucking access to the boss? You fucking nuts?
Oh, a man such as yourself?
Oh, shut the fuck up. No, you still
And
haven't
she-
told, I mean, you're not, I don't know what a floon is, and,
It's a person. Floon is a person.
well, go
We're
fucking find him, he ain't here.
Well, we have reason to believe that he's been bought here.
Your reasons are all fucked up.
But you just said that somebody had been brought through this
No, I
morning.
didn't.
I just give
And,
him the mum look.
and that's pretty much your turn. Droplet. And you then repeat with Xerxes looking to you. And
Let's see, do I have any further information that I can drop here? That
I mean, you
would
give
help?
the full description of Floon in Volo's voice, and the goblin sort of just he gives you. He's sort of looking backwards and forwards to you, and he's taken half a step back at this point, weapon drawn.
Could I add in the dwarf's voice saying gambling and going to the Zentarum place?
He sort of, you see him stop for a second with that remark, and then he turns and bolts. Well, he's about to turn and bolt. It's not his turn, but he literally turns and starts bolting down the stairs. That would pretty much be your turn. Dags, it is now your turn. You would see this. This is all happening at the same time. So, in this moment, you see the creature just turn and take off down the stairs. What do you do at this moment? Well, you can't stand on top of him.
Well, I was tackling.
You're going to attempt to tackle him.
Yes. Like dive, ankles kind of deal.
Easily enough. We can do a contested strength roll here. They were both bad rolls, but you managed to run, like, just dive forward. You streak forward and you dive, and as you get to the top of the stairs, I'd even say you guys get about to there, on the top of the stairs and you manage to tackle him to the ground. You get the upper hand and you're able to grapple him at this point. So he is grappled. So that's essentially your turn. You're not going to do anything else, but you do have him grappled at this point. Back to the top of the initiative with Elliot, who's in the other room. You would hear this sort of going on, Elliot. You would probably not have seen exactly what's happened, but you've heard a scuffle. You've heard running, and you probably heard, "Get off me! What the fuck?" As the goblin starts to struggle to try and break free of Dags.
So we would say that this goblin is hostile towards us?
I would definitely say, well, he hasn't made any hostile actions towards you, but he has turned to run away at this point. So I would say you wouldn't know because you were around the corner. I mean, he's not been pleasant, but he's not raised a weapon.
Okay, so he sort of grit his teeth in like the folly of youth, then he rounds the corner and he casts friends on himself, which I will do.
Ooh.
Where are you, friends? There's friends.
So you are now concentrating on the friends. So, for the duration, you have advantage on all charisma checks directed at a creature of your choice that isn't hostile towards you. I would say it's definitely not hostile. Well, you wouldn't assume that it's hostile at this point. It's like it's definitely not been pleasant, but it has not raised a weapon. So you're not entirely sure, 100% sure whether it's hostile or not. So we'll see what happens.
I don't believe we've got your name, but we might have come in the back way, but we have indeed come for business with your boss, Xanathar. We mean you no harm.
Xanathar isn't here. Hang on. And so I'll get you to make a persuasion roll when I find you. There you are. And we're going to get you to make a persuasion with advantage, good sir. As he doesn't seem to be hostile, but he's indifferent. 19. He sort of relaxes a little bit, struggling less in your arms, Dags, as you sort of hold him down. And he says, are you mad? Xanathar's not here. This is not where he hangs out. He's not going to come here. My boss is not Xanathar. God damn it.
Who is your boss then, if it's okay to ask? Ease up on the grip a bit there, Dags.
Let me. God, my boss is Grimshire. Oh, sorry, Grimshire. He sort of gives a exaggerated, sarcastic sort of tone. Doesn't like being called Grimshire. But he's the boss of this area. I mean, we all work for Xanathar, but Xanathar doesn't come here.
It's fair enough, and Elliot will sort of turn to look at Xerxes to see if that name means anything to him.
I would say no. There are many. I would say members of the Xanathar Guild that work directly under Xanathar himself. He's got many sergeants, generals, things like that. Those types of ranked person. They're not specifically that rank, but they might have bosses, mini bosses below bosses, kind of thing. Like each sort of area has its own little man in charge or person in charge. So this particular area seems that Grimshire is the person in charge.
To take us to see your boss then. I mean, you can see there's a number of us here and we haven't harmed you.
Hammer! And he sort of looks up at you and looks at Dags. Really?
It's just a hugger.
It's the aggressive hug, and it felt more like a tackle.
think it's safe to let our friend down, Dags. Don't you think?
I'll just kind of like pull him over towards me, where like standing where I'm laying. So I'm like kind of sitting at the top of the stairs, if I can kind of do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can move. I mean, you've got him in the grapple. Do you let him go or no?
Well, that's what I'm gonna like let him go in between me and Elliot.
Okay, so he sort of picks himself up, brushes off the dirt, picks up his weapon, and points it at you, Dags. Don't you do that again, or I'll cut you. You tell your. He starts pointing his weapon at he's got a little short sword, and he points it up at you, Elliot, as you're a lot taller than him, and sort of points it, not aggressively, but sort of shakes it at you. You tell him to leave me alone.
The exuberance of youth, my dear fellow. I'm sorry. I do apologize.
So he's sort of looking around. That goes for your friends too. Leave me alone. And he's sort of looking around, waiting for someone. He's still quite weary. Like he sees you as kind of a friendly person at this point. How long does the spell last? 1 minute. Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, we're in initiative at this point. We're sort of initiative's paused for now. As he sort of says, well, I suppose I could take you to Grim. I mean, you say you're here for business. You're looking for a floon. I don't know what a floon. You said a floon or whatever. You're looking for a floon. I don't know that a floon is here. I mean, you really shouldn't be here. You know that. I mean, Grumshar's not going to be happy that you're here, and I'm going to get in lots of trouble.
Your name doesn't need to be mentioned. I mean, you haven't given me your name. Just point us in the direction and
Well,
we'll be on our way.
I suppose you just go down there, and he points down the stairs. Can't really miss it. You go down there, you follow the corridor. You might find some people sleeping in the next room or two, but you go through there and you'll go down another long corridor and up another set of steps, and you'll find Grimshar talking to somebody. I can't remember. Can't remember his name. It was some drow or something was there. We're having a conversation.
The details aren't important. And here, my dear,
Drow.
reaches into his pocket and gives him 2 gold coins.
He sort of
Drow?
ooh, and he grabs them and bites one each side of his mouth, bites down on it. It's like, oh, real? Wow, you're rich. Puts them into his pocket and says, well, if you don't need me anymore, I'm going to go this way because Grimshaw's not going to be happy, and I think I need to go elsewhere.
Just before you go,
I'm not talking to you.
would you talk to me if I said I would pass on your bravery to Lord Xanathar himself?
No. I mean, me letting you in here is certain death for me. You realise this? But he's nice. I like him.
Yes. Let's get out of here while he feels inclined.
I just
Fair enough.
And he, funnily enough, the goblin then sort of bows deeply and waves. It's like almost waving you on, like to you, Elliot, and sort of gives you a deep bow and sort of waves you down the stairs. And as the rest of you, as you move down, we'll move back. We'll move out of initiative. We'll end that combat. I'm going to award some XP there. You get a little bit of XP for the encounter because you didn't kill him. But we will end our saying that there. So as you continue, he's going to bugger off and disappear. He waves you down the stairs, Elliot, and as the rest of you sort of file down after Elliot, he gives you all a bit of a snarl and stuff like that. Dags, he spits at you as you pass him by, because you're the one that tackled him. It's like, and sort of turns and disappears into the darkness as you continue forward. I would say by then, after a little while, your concentration dips, Elliot. I will move you all forward down here. So you do eventually, you get to the base of the stairs, and with Elliot probably leading the way, I'd say at this point. And we've got a little bit of light on. You guys have lights available, so we will say that you move. Oh crap. I'm gonna move you all the way through into this next room. Let's get you all into here so we know exactly where you're at. Right. So as you move forward, you move down a long corridor, down again. It's still very dark down here. You get the impression that these guys down here don't really need a lot of light. Most goblins that have dark vision, so they rely heavily on what ambient light is around to see. You find yourself now in an area which looks pretty disheveled. It contains sort of tattered mattresses and blankets. It looks like they've been recently used, perhaps, but no one's in this particular area. You do notice there is a closed door down here, and you do hear voices in the next room, muffled voices in the next room.
Droplet is looking to Elliot now. His deception clearly failed, and Elliot has taken great control of the situation. So he's just expectantly just looking up at him like, yes.
Hey, Droplet.
Did we lose Dill?
No, he's blinking.
No, I was saying, hey, Droplet.
He's not going to answer you. You know that.
Droplet then
Yeah.
looks at you. I couldn't hear you come through, sorry, Dill.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to speak up, man.
well, you should use that little goblin guy's voice and say the name of his leader. Maybe he'll come in.
Droplet will hop around to the corner of the hallway.
God's sake.
Hold on. That. Are we looking for a confrontation, or are we looking for a discussion? How do we feel about this? Oh, let's not say his name incorrectly. Rom?
Yeah, the Grumshaw.
Grumshaw.
I would be tempted to say let's try for discussion rather than confrontation at this point.
And not a name
So
you
we just don't call him Grim.
obviously a low-level manager. To crime organizations have management and supervisors, and
A business is a business.
All I will say is that whatever we decide to discuss, we do it with an air of confidence, and we do it with power behind us. We're here because we're meant to be, not because we're trying to talk our way out of it.
aren't sure our best foot forward.
Mama didn't raise no bitch. Well, Mama didn't raise nobody, but still.
Droplet will now tug on Elliot's sleeve. and move towards the corridor.
I love it.
Right. Knocking? I suppose knocking's appropriate. Though we are in a sewer, that has not escaped me. There's probably not much room for politeness in a sewer.
Droplet will use his beak to peck the door quite forcefully 2 or 3 times.
It's a woodpecker.
If there is in fact a door. I can't see.
Who the fuck is out there? Fucking around with the doors. You hear from behind the door.
We've come to discuss business. I thought we should knock first.
Who the fuck is we?
My name is Elliot Duskborn. I'm
Oh,
here with
shut
my
the fuck up and come to the door, you idiot. You're not talking through a fucking door.
It's off to a good start then. Elliot will lean over Droplet and open the door, assuming Droplet's still at the door.
You open the door and there's a little bit of light in this room. Not much. But as you open the door, another light is lit. And you sort of step, you probably don't step into the door, you sort of poke you through the door. You can see over here is a dark-skinned dwarf standing across the room, weapon drawn, waiting sort of to see who's coming through the door. Do you all follow through? Do you walk through into the room, or do you sort of hang about at the door, Elliot?
Is Droplet in front of me? Because I sort of leaned over.
He would be kind of sort of right in front of you. Sort of probably hunkering down.
Straight that
Droplet just
is
walking in?
Kenku hopping. He's Kenku hopping into the room, yeah.
Okay, so we'll put Droplet about there. And as you peer around the corner, as you come around the corner, another individual being seen. Again, weapons drawn. And more in a defensive manner than an aggressive at this point.
I know that Dags would be keen to get in there. You heard about
So you
that.
reckon Dags have been... So give me an order going into the room. So obviously Elliot and Droplet first.
I'll go behind Dags.
I guess I'll take up the rear.
Jane is pushing up the rear. So as you move in, and the Duragar looks at you and says, "All right, now that we're not yelling at each other, who the fuck are you and what you're doing here? You'd said talking business. What type of business you want here? You're definitely not supposed to be here and you don't belong."
It's very apt. We've come looking for a gentleman that might have been brought through here a couple of days back. Or maybe this morning.
There's no gentleman here, believe me. He sort of gives a bit of a snicker.
Right. That being true, we're still on the lookout for a gentleman. What was his name again? He sort of looks back at whoever's behind him, directly behind him, to answer that. So if it's Dags.
Definitely doesn't look at Droplet.
If Droplet
Trying
wants to
indicate
respond...
How many of us there are.
So you look back sort of over your shoulder. Droplet, you can reply if you want. I mean, I can see you like really want to.
Droplet is waiting a couple of seconds to see if anyone takes that first.
Does anyone else say anything? Like, he does definitely look over his shoulder at you, Dags and Xerxes, and the rest of you behind him.
I mean, we're looking for a pretty guy.
The pretty guy. Why don't the rest of you step in here so I can see who the fuck you are? And he sort of, he himself backs up a little bit to allow you into the room.
Floon.
You got a fucking woman with you as well. God, the whole fucking party. So he's asked for you all to step in the room.
Yep.
I'm assuming you will.
Quite happily Kenku hop around to the side, make some room.
Yeah. So it sort of lets you all in so you can see, at least see you all. Him and his buddy back up against, not so much against the wall, sort of back towards the wall. And again, what you're seeing here is just literally it's the tattered beds, like dirty mattresses, dirty blankets, nothing too flash, but just the basics. Now, Jane, the moment you step into this room, probably you too, Droplet, you would recognize the dwarf. He's got a bruised cheek and blackened eye, as one of the individuals that was involved in the brawl at the Yawning Portal when you first met each other. He was involved, like he wasn't the one that was being beaten up, but he was definitely involved in that. You were close enough to see it, and Jane, you were definitely close enough to see it, as he was one that kicked you in the ribs.
Mm-hmm.
So how you react to that is completely up to you.
I just look at him.
Right, so now we can see all of you. You say you're here for business. You're looking for a what? A Floon Blagmar, you say? Not sure there's anyone here of that name. But then again, we bring lots of folk through here to be questioned. Lord Xanathar likes to know what's going on in Waterdeep. I'm sure he'd like to know why you're here.
Absolutely. And as you can see, with the 5 of us here, this is obviously an important task. They wouldn't...
Well, it must be important for you to walk yourselves right in here, unannounced.
Absolutely. And he sort of scrapes his boot across the wall a little. He's like, yes, it's not very pleasant traipsing through other people's refuse.
You call him my home filthy, by any chance? I quite like it here.
To each their own.
You saying it's not good enough for you now? You're a bit of a fancy pants, aren't you?
A little bit, yes.
He sort of wipes his sort of hand across his face and nose. So, what do you expect me to do for you then?
Well, if we can arrange to have a conversation about where this individual might be, we might be able to come to terms on some sort of payment.
Payment, you say? On re-securing this Floon you're looking for? Well, I'm not in charge here, but I can certainly take you to who is. Conditions, of course. We're not stupid. If you would...
are looking for somebody.
I'm not talking to you, young fella. I suggest you keep your trap shut. I'm talking to this gentleman. Conditions. I'll take you to the boss. But we'll have to disarm you, of course. We can't have you traipsing in there fully armed and ready to do battle. And I'm quite sure some of you lot are a little bit magic-y as well. You can kind of smell it on you. So the first sign of anyone casting a spell, me and my hammer will go to work. Would that be agreeable to you? I guarantee you safe passage, of course.
It is okay with me. I'll ask my companions to make sure they understand the conditions themselves.
It's fine by me. Although I do need to keep my staff, as I was a bit hurt in a bar fight a couple of days ago. Helps me to walk.
You didn't need it to walk in this room, lass. I'm quite sure you can do without it for a wee while. We'll help you if you fall. You can see he's definitely not buying the deception. I mean, you can roll a deception check I'll get you to roll.
I'll
Actually,
try.
I'll get you to roll a deception. Hang on a second. We'll get you to roll a deception. After all, this is a game of D&D. We've got to make the dice roll, don't we? So it'll be a straight deception roll there from Jane. An 8 for a total of a 10. I'd say he's definitely a little more onto it than that. Like, you can see that he's definitely a lot more intelligent than the goblin, clearly. He seems to be, I mean, it's up to you guys whether you believe his word. Like, he's giving you his word that you'll have safe patches to the boss as long as you give up your weapons and don't do any funny business. If you wish to roll an insight, it's up to you at this point. If you choose to, let me know and I'll tee it up, but otherwise,
Yeah, I think I would.
so we say everyone would like to roll an insight at this point.
Sure.
Here we go. We'll get everyone. We are at 11 o'clock, so we will look at finishing up very shortly.
Of course, I get the net 20 on the bloody inside check.
Natural 20 on the inside. So Jane, specifically Jane and Droplet with a dirty 20. The rest of you, he seems legit to you. Jane, you get a hint of not deception. Like, he's definitely not lying, but you also get the impression like like he's definitely true to his word. Like, if anything kicks off, he's going to hit someone quickly and hard. The ship will go sideways very, very quickly. But you also get the impression that if the right circumstances were to arise, he'd drop you in a heartbeat. Like, he's definitely not trustworthy. No one's trustworthy in this in this line of work. But he seems to be fairly honest about what he said. He guarantees you safe passage to the boss as long as you give up your weapons and don't do anything stupid. He guarantees he'll get you there. And Droplet, you get the same impression. Like, he's on the level with that.
Okay. That's fine. Do we need to give up our weapons? Can we not just holster them?
Well, fuck no. Of course you need to give them up. We're not going to let you take your weapons in there. What do you think we are, fucking stupid?
Back?
Of course you will.
Okay, then that's fine.
Why would we not give them to you back? We're here to do business, like you say. If you're here legitimately to do business, and your business is concluded, and everyone is agreeable, you'd get your weapons back. You'd be escorted back to the surface. No harm, no foul.
Okay, so I hand him my staff.
So, do all of you hand over your weapons as the bandit, the other guy, this human individual steps forward to start collecting weapons? It goes to you first, Elliot. What weapons is Elliot handing over, and is he trying to conceal anything? Remember, I can see your character sheet, so I know what weapons you have.
I'm just looking at how many weapons I have. I'm like, where's he put all this stuff?
I know, right? He's got a few.
Yeah, he would hand over everything.
Hand over everything? You're not going to try and conceal anything?
No.
Okay, so don't take them out of your inventory. Leave them in there. We're not going to go play that game. It just makes it a pain in the ass. So Elliot, you hand over all your weapons. The bandit collects them and then sets them down on one of the beds. Then moves to you, Jane. Do you hand over all of your weapons, your staff?
I went to do it before.
Yeah. So
I don't think I've got anything else. Just my staff.
I think you have a dagger as well.
I don't think so.
Let me double check your inventory. Just as long as you're not trying to hide anything, that's probably the main thing. Are you trying to hide anything? You have a quarterstaff. That's pretty much it for you.
Yeah, no, I'll just... There you go.
So you hand that over, he takes it from you. Xerxes, he then comes to you and holds his hand out for your weapons.
I will hold out the flail for him to take, and I will just say, "Treat her well." And then I reach down and pull out a dagger that I hand the handle first.
And he takes it and yep.
And then I look down at my shield and I say, "I don't suppose you'll be needing this."
He looks over his shoulder at the dwarf, it sort of looks at you and it says, as long as it stays attached to your arm, no funny business, okay?
Oh, it's pretty well attached, I can guarantee you that.
I mean, we could detach the arm if it gets that way. And you can see he's relatively serious when he says these things. But the bandit comes up here, takes your flail, and he again respects your request and lays it gently down on the mattress with the rest of the weapons. He walks over to you, Droplet, and he sort of gives it a sort of a head tilt as you blink back at him with your white eyes. Do you hand over your weapons?
Droplet has prepared and hands him all the darts from his inventory.
I would say they're on a little bandolier type thing. I mean, like it's a little pouch full of darts, so not individual or anything like that.
He has sort of unbuckled the sheath of his sword, his katana.
Yeah. How easily is he going to give that up?
He's not really wanting to let go of it. He thinks about it for a moment while it's sort of looking.
So you got that moment where the bandit's reached out for the weapon. He's taken the darts and he's reached out for the katana, and both hands are on it right now. And he's sort of doing that little tug, and you're not quite ready to let it go. And he's sort of giving you a look like saying, "Dude, let it go. This could be bad if you don't let it go."
Beak will open, and you just hear a voice you haven't really heard him use before. And it says, "My son, this blade is yours and yours alone. You will use it to defend those who cannot defend themselves. But this is not a blessing. This is a curse. You are responsible for this weapon. Never let it out of your sight. I hope that one day you can forgive me."
Interesting. The Durgar walks
Sort of
forward.
looks pleadingly at the guard.
The guard's holding it still, isn't it? To go. The Durgar walks forward and puts his hand on the guard's shoulder, prompting the guard to let the sword go. And he walks up to you himself, stands in front of you, and says to you directly, "Maybe you should wait here. Guarantee your friends' weapons stay where they are. I'll leave my man here with you. No funny business that way. And you can stay with your family." You see, almost like he gets it. Like you see him gripping his own hammer in a very sort of similar fashion.
There is anyone that looks closely enough, and the guard to the two, which are they, Zentarum?
These are both Xanathar Guild.
Xanathar. I get confused, they start with the same letter. Those two would definitely be able to see from this distance, but anybody else would have to be paying quite close attention with Droplet's hood still up. There are tears in his eyes as he nods and accepts these terms.
So he motions for you to step over to where the weapons are, and the other guard then steps to you. Elliot, we're done. Elliot steps. That's it. Dags steps to you. Almost forgot about Dags. So he steps to you, Dags, and puts his hand out for your weapons.
Quiver, bow, take off the rapier, one boot, dagger, dagger under the.
I'm thinking
shirt
of
over
what's the
here.
fucking movie? Pulling out all the weapons, put them on the table. Yeah,
Comes to mind.
yeah.
Just like, use this. Bag of ball bearings. Like,
It takes a little while to get all the Dags weapons, but we get all the Dags. So it was safe to say that you're not trying to hide anything. You're giving up all of your weapons.
No.
Okay. So everyone's given up all their weapons. You've also been warned not to try and use magic as well. And the Durgar then sort of steps forward and says, all right then, so we have an agreement. You are to accompany me to Gramshar, and we will negotiate the release of your Floon, if indeed he is here. We do not, I mean, I do not know what he's going to do if your Floon's not here. I cannot guarantee what happens after that, but you have my word. I'll get you to him safely, and I will speak for you and attempt to get you out of here safely.
Very much appreciated.
We're all businessmen, of course. I mean, what business would we have if we were going killing each other all the time? We saved that for the Zentarum. You're not working for the Zentar, yeah. I fucking hope not, because that'll be my hide if you are. And he sort of looks around at all of you. He, again, stops at you, Xerxes, for a little bit. You're, I mean, not your face, because you're covered with that fucking mask. You must be hideous under there. Something familiar about you, though.
I can swear to you that I do not work for the Zentarum.
All right then. Good enough for me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to call tonight's session. Because we can, and it's probably a good place to pause it before we get into the next area. Because the next area is going to be another great big round of RP. Which could probably last an hour or two on its own. So, potentially. So we're going to call it there. Thank you, chat, for coming and hanging out with us today and sharing our story. We do run the session about 2 hours because normally Nutty would be needing to go to work tomorrow. You got work tomorrow, Nutty? No, normally you do though, wouldn't you? So we'll do what we normally do at the end of the session. We normally, we haven't done this for a while actually, but we're going to do it tonight because I know Nutty doesn't have work and everyone else is usually pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're going to get a moment from tonight's RP session from everyone that stood out for you, whether it's from your own character or from someone else's character, preferably someone else's character. And then we'll get you to introduce yourself and your character again before you do that, just again to let everyone know who you are, who you're playing, what your class and that is, and then just a moment from tonight's session that stood out to you. We'll start with Mr. Grimm.
Hello, my name is Grimrealities, and I play Elliot Duskborn, an elderly tiefling warlock with some issues. I feel
just
like
a couple of issues.
Characters have to have some sort of issues.
Oh, you've got to have an issue, don't you? At least one.
Yes. And I apologize to everyone else, but I'm going to take Droplet's moment with the sword, partly because of its mental effect on Elliot himself, but also because it was just so well done.
Yes, I will agree. That was a very well done moment from Neon. And it's cool, Ziggy, like, okay to be excitable with D&D is what it's all about. So that is a moment from Grim Nutty. Nightheart.
I'm Nutty. I'm playing Jane Smith, the human druid. Damn you, Grim. I was about to say the same
I think
thing.
everyone probably would have chose that moment because that was a pretty cool moment.
That was pretty good, but I also have to say Dags going in for the tackle was like, what the fuck are you doing?
It could have ended badly, but kind of ended kind of well at the same time, so not too bad there. And chat too, if you guys want to, if there's a moment that you stand out from you guys in the chat, put it in the chat as well, we'll read that out. So that's Nutty Tart, who is also, for those that don't know, my partner. She's sitting in the other room, which the reason why we're running this one a little shorter, because normally she'd have work the next day, and she works in the hospital doing all manner of shifts, so we try and keep it fairly short. And 2 hour sessions seems to be pretty good for this campaign that's thus far. Neon Reptile, all the way from Scotland. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning for him, ish, or after 10.
It was.
It was, yeah. So Neon.
Hello, I am Neon Reptile, bringing you Droplet, the Kenku monk, who we all know is just heart and soul of the party at this point, I think. I have to say it's near around where Dags tackled the poor unsuspecting goblin, but a little bit further in, it was Elliot having his charmed discussion with the poor guy. And honestly, I just, like Tiggy said, I just want to give the guy a little hug. I felt so bad for him. He's absolutely great.
Well, the goblin was having a bit of a crisis there, like is. But yeah, so well done. That was a decent moment too. That conversation was very interesting. Next up, we got Mr. Sticks and Stones.
Hello. Yeah, I play Xerxes, the half-drow paladin, who definitely does not work with his Zentarum.
May or may not.
Probably my favorite bit was when Elliot had the flail to stand there and not turn away.
Yes, the not turning away moment was interesting. I mean, Jane didn't seem to care.
She did it first.
Yeah, 100%. So, Dill.
I'm Dale Cripple, and I'm playing Dags, Wood Half Elf Rogue. My favorite part, after the other ones that people have said, is flanking flail balls.
You got to speak a little louder to your noise gates kicking.
Am I quiet right now?
Yeah, your noise gates kicking in.
It's probably the clanking flail balls.
Yes, that was that almost broke Sticks, although it was great. I think that definitely had Sticks break character quite badly, so that was pretty good. Well done. Definitely. My moment for me, and guys, you all know me, I'm Evldoa, I'm the DM. This has been a Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Session 4. A moment for me tonight that stood out for me was a couple of moments. Elliot's out loud talking to this entity that seems to be speaking to him that no one else can hear. Just an out loud outburst. The definitely the not turning moment when Jane was getting dressed and Jane just not caring. Just like, let's do it anyway. She's not a proud woman. I mean, she seems to have a noble way about her, but she also has a more not peasant, but just a more working class type air about her as well. But yeah, all the same moments you guys said. That obviously Neon, very well done with the sword moment there. That was definitely a little bit of an emotional moment. Very cool. Xerxes balls. That's gonna stick with me forever. Just that moment watching Sticks not able to sort of compose himself for a few seconds, and then it just carried on for like 10 minutes afterwards. Just the ball analogies, talking about ball sacks and not wrinkly ones and all sorts of shit. It was rather good. Elliot, the friends, definitely a interesting choice there. It worked. It could have gone horribly wrong, but it worked. The Leroy Jenkins moment, definitely another moment that could have gone horribly wrong, but the dice rolls definitely helped you. Were in your guys' favor tonight. A couple of not so good rolls, but the rest of the rolls were actually pretty good. So, 2 weeks time, guys. In a couple of weeks, we will have session 5 of our Waterdeep campaign. So we're 5th now. So the 19th of May will be our next session. Same time, about 9 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time. It'll be in the Discord, and you will see it. If you're in the Discord, you will see it in your time zone. So we're putting that in there. So it'll be when the schedule goes up, you'll see all those times in your time zone. So please join the Discord. The announcements get announced every Sunday night. I put up the schedule for the week, and it tells you where we're streaming and what we're streaming and what time. Most of my content is now on Kick. This is the only content we've got on Twitch at the moment. So every 2 weeks we're here on Twitch doing the D&D. All my gameplay stuff is now on my Kick channel. So it's kick.com/Evldoa. Jump over there, make an account, hit us up with a follow. Check it out. We're having a lot of fun over there. We've got a Rust server up and running now as well. So for those of you that do play Rust and want to come and join our PvP/PvP zone server, you can. All the details for that is in the Discord as well. I think under the announcements pins, there is a link you can go to see the mods we got. Under the Rustians pins, you'll see all the information you need for the server. We're having a bit of fun there. We had a force wipe, which kind of we didn't expect that was coming. I forgot all about the force wipe every month with Rust, so that was a little bit unexpected. So we're on a brand new wipe as of today. The next force wipe won't be until 1st of June, I think it is. It's usually the first Thursday of every month. So that'll be our wipe day every month. Some of the mods aren't working at the moment. We will have to wait for the next restart for a couple of them, as some of them will be updating. So when the server's empty, it should auto restart to update those mods. Otherwise, they should update on the scheduled restart, which will be at 5 AM. But apart from that, we're good to go. We're gonna raid? I don't know if we should raid or not. Let's have a look. Let's see who's online. How many do we have in is the question. I don't even know how many viewers we had tonight. We got there. You've got a few. Mr. Vibe, Cuddly Rat, just playing Sons of the Forest. Moody's playing Dead Island 2. We'll go raid Moody. Moody's a good friend to the server, to the community. So we're going to go raid Moody Gamer, guys. Here's what is your suggestion, Ziggy, before I make my final decision here? We'll see what Ziggy's suggestion is. We'll check them out. But yeah, so we're back here. Probably a bonus stream tomorrow night, guys, over on Kick. I'm not sure what I'll be doing yet. We might do some more. I might start with some Metal Hellsinger again. That was actually a really cool game, and the music is awesome. So we might check that out again for maybe a little while, and then we might do something else. Might jump on some Fortnite or something. Game developer. Let's check these guys out. So we got the. What are they? Are they doing game development stuff at the moment? The Astra. Let's see what they're doing. Software and game development. What's their follow count? Oh, you're under 1,000 follows. Low view count. Not really talking that much though, unfortunately. I mean, they're sort of hyper focused on what they're doing. Looks interesting though.
Or less than.
Man, that shit would do my head in. Like all those strings of stuff to get things to move. I think we'll stick with Moody. Moody's a cool dude. Most of our crew know Moody already. I will check them out though, and I'll chuck them a follow. And I will check them out because I do like game development stuff.
I meant to press F, but never mind. That works as well.
I'll tab them at the moment. So we're going to raid Moody, guys. And we will see you on the Kick
It did the job.
tomorrow, maybe.
Let's take it.
Keep an eye on Discord for an announcement. I'll announce it in the Discord. Moody Gamer UK.
Did I just see in the chat there it says, what country are you from? Is that Moody's chat? And they're asking Moody Gamer UK what country he's from.
Yes. Yes, that is exactly what you're seeing, which is funny as hell. I mean, yeah, I mean, he sounds like he's where he's from. Well, I suppose some people wouldn't know the accent. No worries, Ziggy. Good to see you, mate. You guys make sure you go check out Ziggy Dreadful too, eh? Like when you can. Ziggy's awesome. I haven't been able to catch a stream of Ziggy's for ages, but make sure you go check them out. Hit them up with a follow. Awesome people.
Goldie, fuck off.
And so we now retype this. Magic Moody Gamer. Right, there we go. So raid's up and doing. We're going to say goodnight. See you later. See you next time. Bye-bye.
From the sewers. What was he doing?